What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, so we're just going to jump right into this. Today I wanted to come on here because I'm not 100% sure if I've ever kind of shared my whole story. I have friends and clients and people that have known me for a long time and those that have known me for a little bit of time. And so it kind of may not, they may not know exactly where I'm coming from. So let me tell you. Let me just tell you. All right. So and I'm talking about as it relates to physical health, and then we'll get into a little bit more mental health. But hey, Ashley, thanks for joining. So excited you're going to get to hear my whole story, like you probably have heard it before. So let's start with me in high school. So that's really when you first, I guess, become aware of your, or not, maybe not first, but that's when you really start to become aware of your body image and how other people might look at you, what you're thinking of yourself. Luckily, I was very fortunate to have a mom that didn't put any emphasis on that, and I was kind of oblivious to any of that might have been going on in the high school. I was not overweight by any means, but I wasn't the skinniest girl either. And what was really interesting, looking back now, I didn't ever really put two and two together. But as I told you, I wasn't overweight by any means. But I did freshman volleyball, and believe me, was not super good at it. They had to like invent teams for how good I was so that I could still play. But that one season of freshman year playing volleyball, I gained like 20 pounds in muscle. And looking back, and my legs blew up. Like I went from regular girl legs to like these huge legs, and it never went back down after that. But I never realized what that meant until obviously later when I became a trainer and got more fit. But I am a mesomorph, man. I can build some muscle. Anyway, so in high school, I was like 140 pounds, people. Like I said, to look at me, I don't think anybody would have said I was overweight. And I was decently active, and I didn't eat well, but I didn't eat that much, right? So that was me in high school. Then right after high school, maybe 2 months later, I joined the military. And I went into the military. I had been running and trying to get ready or whatever, a little bit, not much. But after 7 weeks, like how they try to tell you 6 weeks, but 7 weeks, I went to the Air Force, by the way. So it's like the easiest boot camp we could have done, right? But still, it wasn't that easy. I went in August in San Antonio. So I was dripping sweat my entire time. We did calisthenics every morning. You know how you probably have seen the movies, right? You do calisthenics, which is push-ups, sit-ups, all the pull-ups. Yeah, right. I tried to do pull-ups. Mountain climbers, all that kind of crap. And we walked everywhere in August, and we ran all the time. And so, yes, after 7 weeks of that was probably the best shape I had been in yet at that point. I wasn't an athlete grown up. So the best shape I could have possibly been in. And I graduated, and obviously you don't get to eat junk very rarely. You have to stay on their meal plan, and it wasn't, looking back, it wasn't great, but it certainly wasn't that bad. And I graduated boot camp, I think, like right at 150. Like I graduated boot camp, and I was in great shape. And I was at 150, and my max for my height was 155. So, best shape of my life. That's when the world started telling me I was overweight. I never had an issue until then, like mentally. And I was pretty proud that I had done all that stuff. But at the same time, I was this close to getting kicked out. You know, they're kind of lenient, I guess, a little bit. But I was this close. I was so close. And that is where the downhill slope started coming, because that really messed with me. Because before in my life, I had always been accomplished. I'd always accomplished everything I set my mind out to. I'd always been good at whatever I set my mind out. If there was a standard, I always tried to exceed it. And not always. If you're a child, whatever, you get lazy. But in general, when it comes to school, with stuff that I understood or cared about, I should say. But this was something I just couldn't do. I didn't have the ability. Like I said, at my best shape, I was already going downhill with the military. So that started to play into it. Then you add the military. In my military career, my job was to sit down all day. Okay, so not that I was the most active before that, but definitely that took my level of activity down a notch. Add birth control, add marriage pounds, add definitely being out of your mom's house and eating bad, and then eventually add on drinking. All of those things. And the weight slowly started to even get worse. And then I think they relaxed the standards, and I don't know how much I was around then, but it wasn't great. But it wasn't good either. Or it wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as it was going to get. At that point, I started working with a trainer, and I learned a lot. I remember one of my senior NCOs said, I came to run one day, and he's like, and I was like, oh, I don't feel good. And he's like, Ann? I was like, what? We work out even if we don't feel good? So that was the beginning of my mental change. So I started running a lot more. Oh my gosh, I would run a 5K on the blacktop at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in San Antonio. Like, did that now, I'd probably fall over, but me and my friend Lindsay would do that. And I didn't do it well, but I did it. And so that was something. That was a good start. And I started working with a trainer because I needed to learn a lot. Because I ended up running the physical training program for my squadron, which was like 200 people, which was really awesome because I like to learn and I like to create programs, and that's what I did. So I started learning, and then you could see like a little bit of interest you could see the fitness interest starting to grow. So that was a good time in my life, but I wasn't awesome when it comes to my weight even still. Because again, we have the birth control, we have the video games, we have the sitting down at work, which isn't great. We have the bad eating. In San Antonio, you have Bill Miller's, Mexican, you have Southern food, or comfort food, whatever you want to call it. Just every possible bad food that you could have was there and delicious. Okay, so that wasn't great. But you know what? Then I got out of the military, and I got another job where you sit down all day. Isn't this a bummer? This is what most of us battle. I know. But luckily at USAA, I got into the gym, and I had a little bit of weight loss. So this is a lot of us, right? We get in these fits and starts, and this was another one of my fits and starts. I lost a little weight. I got a little more confident. I started looking a little better, and then boom, got pregnant. And I wasn't that great of shape before. I had the Air Force never really helped me with this hip problem I had. They kind of made it worse, told me to get out and fix it. It was a mess. And then once I got pregnant, the sciatica and the back pain, it was just unreal. It was so bad. Knowing what I know now, I could have helped myself, but I couldn't then. And I gained so much weight with Zach, so much. And, okay, so I gained so much weight with Zach, and then we moved right after he was born to Alaska. So, and I became a stay-at-home mom. So there was mental problems, there was eating problems. I was in charge of the cooking, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew if there was butter and potatoes and bread, pretty much nobody would complain because those are always good, right? I knew that inherently, like whatever. If there was carbs and like butter, right? And so again, though, in Alaska, I gained weight, even more weight. And I went in these fits and starts. They didn't have a YMCA where I could take Zach there and go work out. I tried to do some working out at home. I tried to run when I could. And I did try to go to their gym with Zach sitting right there and do as much as I could with what I knew. But it was not enough to combat all of my bad habits and all of the years that I had stacked those up, right? Okay, so that's us to Alaska. Fast forward, got pregnant with Melanie. Melanie... When I essentially went to the same pregnancy weight. Like, we're talking 220 pounds, like, or more. I don't even know. I stopped looking at the freaking thing when I was pregnant. I was like, this doesn't count. I'm not looking. And so after Melanie's pregnancy, then I was like hey Jessica, I was super motivated to start shredding all the weight again. So I would work out at home, and Zach would be sitting on the couch. Melanie would sit in her bumpo. And they would watch me, and I would do Jillian Michaels, and then I would run. And I was so motivated. Man, I was so motivated. I would run if it was 20 degrees or above. Like, that was my limit, if it was. And that's when I really discovered the joy of running, because, it was beautiful scenery. If the weather was ever good, I had good music, and it was a moment to myself, especially as a mother. Like, started to really figure that out. Oh, if I punish myself running, at least I get time alone. No, just kidding. But it was a step forward. Okay. So I lost a little bit of weight, at that point. And then, then we moved again. We lived in Texas for a month and Virginia for a month because I was so desperate to get out of there. We weren't supposed to technically PCS to Florida until December, but I left in October. I'm like, peace, Alaska. Love you. Not so much anymore. Ever again. Love you. So we moved back, and whatever weight I had gained or I lost after Melanie, when you're super motivated, definitely gained that back by the time we were living here. But as soon as I got here, let me go back real quick. So in Alaska is when I really started to just, at some point I just kind of gave up, and I feel really bad. Like I gave up, like I would just take pictures from here to there, and if you just angle it perfectly, I'm totally not. And then like we would go home for visits and other people would take my picture, and I would just see the blob that like I didn't have any core strength. I was just like this. I mean, I was down on the floor with my kids. I was trying to be a good mom, I think, but I just like, I have these pictures where it just like, it looks like that guy from Jabba the Hutt. Like, it's just like, there's no form. It's just a blob down here. And it wasn't until I saw those pictures, I was like, what? I don't look like that when I look in the mirror. So, and then, as I would go to the store, my sizes would just go up, and I just was like, whatever. I really just tried to compartmentalize it. Like I wouldn't think about it. I was like, you know what? This is just the way it is. This is just me. If I just wear the right shirt, you can't really tell, apparently, unless I'm sitting on the ground. And that's just the way it was. When I would go to the playground, I would get winded, that was just the way it was. I would look for benches to sit down. I was always sitting down, now come to think of it. And that's where it was. So fast forward back to squirrel brain, Florida. I come here and I'm looking around. I'm like, well, these people, they're not nearly as out of shape. And they also seem to work out more. It's weird. And they also seem to have like care about their bodies, and they wear nice clothes. Like Alaska nice is jeans and a hoodie, people. That's nice dressing up in Alaska. So I came here and I started to see, okay, it's possible. And it looks nice. Seems nice. And then the first summer here, oh my gosh, I had to adopt a no denim rule. It was so hot, and I know part of that was because I was carrying around so much extra weight. So after the first summer here, I got serious. I was in the gym before because the YMCA, I'd never been a member of the YMCA. The YMCA is so awesome for so many reasons, affordable and free childcare. So I joined that, threw Melanie and Zach in there, just kidding. I put them in there, and I would go work out, do some classes, whatever, do my best. And then it was really shocking to me. My friends signed up with one of our fitness instructors, Kristen. My friend signed up for the Body Challenge, which is personal training, small group personal training. And I was like, Chris will never go for that. Like, it's expensive, or it's not expensive, but it costs more than what we're already paying. We're on a single income right now. We just moved, whatever. But believe me, he was like, sure, you do that. Oh my gosh, he was so patient with me and always made me feel like $1 million. But, he probably had a vision in his head of the woman that he married, right? Let's just be real. So he was like, sure, do that. Okay. So then I got into personal training, and I made it serious. So if you're like me, you're like, if I spend the money, I'm going to make it work. Whatever it is, like I'm going to put my all into it, because that's the way I am. Like money means a lot to me apparently. And I'm like, if I'm spending money, I'm going to kill it. So I killed it. I did those, and I was in the gym 5 days a week. And I probably lost like 10 or 15 pounds. But more importantly, what was so exciting for me is I saw a lot of muscle definition start to build up. And I started to feel like energy and ability and strength. And that was exciting. But what was missing was the nutrition component, as you can guess. It was so funny. I always tell this example. Kristen was like, no sugar. We're going to go on no sugar, which, is your creamer. It's all of these things is no sugar. But I'm trying here, people. You have to understand where I came from. Knowing nothing. So I'm like, okay, so we'll have beans for dinner because that's like a protein, and with our pork loin or whatever it was, and that's gonna be really good. So I text her a picture. I was like, is this awesome for dinner? And she's like, Well, it's not a worse choice. She's so nice. Always, always, always way too nice for her own good. And then by the time, like, when I got that, I was like, oh, these definitely say maple sugar and brown, or maple syrup and brown sugar or whatever. Like, it's the most sugary beans I could have picked out, Bush's beans, right? And then I'm like, oh, I see this right in front of my face. So that's where I was starting from. I had no idea. And that's why the weight wasn't coming off as fast as it could have if I had really focused in on the nutrition. And the same thing would go for these people, these women, because in my first body challenge with all these personal training, they were all skinnier than me. But they were still in there working really hard, which was such an important lesson for me to learn for later. But they would talk about, yeah, I don't drink beer because I feel the bloating, or after I have dairy, I feel bloated. And I'm like, I don't have that problem. I don't know what your problem is. Well, fast forward a couple years, we were going to find out that I never knew what it felt to not be bloated. Never knew what it felt like to not feel bad from the food and beverage choices I was making. But back then I was like, I don't know what y'all's problem is. So that's where we started. Okay, so I started to make some progress. Really great. Got a job. Got pregnant with Ayla. This is what happens. Kristen, my trainer, she got me pregnant because she said, squeeze it now so they'll squeeze it later. And then they did. And I got pregnant. Anyway, I was a little crushed because I was getting closer to my goals. But you can't lose weight a lot anyway while you're pregnant. It just doesn't work that way. Hey, Angela. So here I am pregnant with Ayla, working full time. I'm a little heartbroken that my rockin' beach summer body, like the first summer we spent here, I was overweight. The second summer now was going to be pregnant. Yay. Okay. So, but I still went to the gym. This is when the story of Ellie, what the heck was her name? I'm so sorry. CrossFit Mom came out, and she had these professional photos done of her doing big squats, big CrossFit-y things, 9 months pregnant. And I just saw that, and I started doing so much research. I got so interested in it, and that's when I really started to shun doctors, because I had a lot of problems, and I had to figure out a lot of my health and mental issues by myself, because doctors never helped me with those. That usually made it worse. And I'll give you an example. I got prescribed antidepressants for hip pain. Yay! Anyway, so I shunned all the doctors and I started doing my own research, and she was so awesome. Like, I was like, that was what I needed at that point. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to maintain. I'm going to keep working out while I'm pregnant, and it's going to be great. And it was great. I ran my last 5K when I was like 32 weeks pregnant. I worked out up until the week I had her. Like, I was in the gym almost 10 months pregnant. And I had the vision that I was going to do an all natural birth with her, which I did. Not sure how, because it was awful. Don't tell anybody that. Don't tell them. Give them hope. But I envisioned having her as my last big workout, right, of the pregnancy. And so that's what I was going with. And it was great. But that said, when you're pregnant, you should indulge in some things. I probably did a lot more than some. So I still wasn't, I didn't feel bad because I had seen the little victories that I had started with, right? So I didn't feel too bad about that. And I was like, as soon as she's born, I'm right back at it. And I really did. I probably started too soon, but I was running a week after, which was the blessing of a natural birth. There is not recovery. Like, there is, but it's like everything just has to be put back together, and it just takes a few days, and your uterus takes a little while to shrink and all that kind of stuff. But I was running in a week, and I started doing some workouts, and but I knew I had finally had the vision, because I had seen some results. I could be this annoying, skinny, fit girl. I didn't have to be that person that was constantly the fat friend. That's not a nice word, but that's what I was. I was always the bigger one. I didn't have to be the one that was always hiding a pillow over her belly when she sits down. I didn't have to be the one that when you get around this group of people, you're clearly, I just didn't want to be that. I didn't want to have to go to the extra, extra larges, and I wanted to feel my muscles. I wanted to feel fit. I wanted to be able to do any physical event that motherhood or parenthood or adulting asked of me. And I knew that year right after Ayla was born, I was going to be on my own. So I knew that I needed a lot of mental and physical strength to make that. Okay, so that's when I saw the pretty little containers for the 21 Day Fix. Whoop, whoop. Okay, and I was like, and you know, my mind is like little squares that are colored. What else? How do I sign up? Although it still at that point was really hard for me to invest in myself that way. So spending that money for my first 21 Day Fix and the Shakeology, which I was like, eye roll, I don't need those shakes, please. Anyway, was really hard. But I was so determined and I just really wanted to get to it, okay? I just really wanted to finally, once and for all, get to a place I was proud of, okay? So I took the plunge, and here's the deal. For reals, I have never lost weight so quickly. That's just the way it is. Like I lost like 13 pounds in 3 weeks. And that was with cheating. Like I still cheated. I'm not going to lie. The first weekend, don't tell my coach, my then coach, Brittany, who was and is amazing. The first weekend we were like, yeah, and basically we're going to Outback. It's fine. Whoops. And then it was Valentine's Day. I think we had something, me and Mom had something special for Valentine's. Anyway, I did it with my mom, as you can hear. Anyway, the first round I lost 13 pounds and I was like, oh my gosh, how is this happening? Like what? I've never, like it's always like, oh, I lost a pound. Oh, I'm back up a pound. Oh, I lost a pound. Oh, like that's not what happened. Like it just, and I could see it melting off. Okay. So now I kept with it. I stuck with it. I learned how to eat. That was such the big deal. Because nothing else I'd ever done. It was just all like so confusing. There's so much noise out there. And the 21 Day Fix really is mostly about nutrition. And it helps you learn how to eat and what to eat and how much of it to eat, because there's just too much confusion out there. And it really is about getting healthy, and it's secretly about trying to eliminate processed foods. And then when you have the Shakeology, which is all the good stuff, all your vitamins and nutrients that fill in the gaps, then it's actually doable because your body's not like craving or crying out for nutrition. Okay, so I did that. I did it. You know, I cheated here and there. If you were my friend, then you knew I went to Johnny Houston's every Tuesday. Listen, if I'm eating healthy, Mama's gonna have to eat something good too. Okay, that's just the way I am. You don't have to be like that. That's just the way I am. So I did it mostly in moderation. I'm not gonna lie. Like maybe Shayna 5 years ago wouldn't have agreed with that. She would have been like, "You're crazy." But I did it. And I got to my first goal, which was 155 pounds, which was the weight that I was when Chris and I met. And it was such a different weight. It was more muscle. I was so muscly, and I didn't have, my body fat was way down. I have the printout because I'm never going to get rid of that printout. And I was just like, whoa. And then even took it further to 150. Okay, so that was amazing. And what I found immediately is because I had had such great success, I made meal plans, I started sharing it with everybody, I let people borrow my containers, blah, blah, blah. And then I was really shocked when they didn't get results. I was like, why aren't they getting results? Oh my gosh. But that was just neither here nor there. I didn't have an investment in it, neither did they. Okay. And then I was really into working out. I started researching a lot more. And obviously I made my own workouts. I went 6 days a week sometimes to work out for 2 hours. Like I was really into it. So that's when it all kind of came together. I read a scripture that I had read before, but it was, if you have the gift of encouragement, encourage others. If you have the gift of leadership, take the responsibility seriously. I don't even know what scripture it is. I'm not going to lie to you because I should know the number. It's like Hebrews. I don't know. Sorry. It's Hebrews 10 something. But that scripture, and it was like God telling me, listen, you've made this journey. You are capable of helping others do it. I've given you a lot of positivity and encouragement to give others. Why don't you just see about doing that? Okay. So that's really what it all came down to. It sounds crazy. All of these different things just started happening once I really accepted that, because I had shunned it for a lot. I don't sell things. I can't sell things. So after I shunned that for a while, then I just decided, okay, I'm going to do this. And I jumped on Beachbody and I jumped on personal training. Okay. I got my certifications. I got my coaching, all this kind of stuff. And decided to start helping others because I've been there. I have been there, and I know what it's like to have all of these reasons and excuses and problems and not see it, not have the vision, not have the wherewithal to even think about it, and then but still like to somehow still make it. And this is my goal, is to take people from here to here, where they are to where they want to be. That's my goal as a coach. And using Beachbody with the shakes and the nutrition and at home workouts, because there have been 3 times in my life where I could do nothing but working out at home. Okay. And I get that. That is a big reality for so many people that work all day, have young babies, don't even have any other ability to work out except for at home. So this is an important component of my business. Hey, Cindy. And then personal training. I love going to the gym, man. And I love making workouts. I try to be creative. I love like flowing into people, my ridiculous positivity. Hopefully they get that. So that's what I do. But a big part of why I've been able to be successful or even venture out to do that is personal development. Like, I've developed myself. I've read these books and I've read my Bible, and I've just really like gotten to know who I am and what life's possibilities are, that I don't have to live a sad life. I don't have to be depressed. I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to be angry. I can live a life by design and love it. And the personal development part for me, it came after exercise. I had to once I got some confidence in my body, then my mind was able to, it was the next step, like to get my mind right and get my mental health and get my mental clarity right. And so that is my next step as a coach, is I want to help people do that too. Because even though for me, it went from fitness to get your mind right, other people need to get their mind right before they're even willing to consider fitness. And I totally get that. There is no concept of self-care, self-love, investing in yourself, believing in yourself, understanding what your limiting beliefs are, understanding what's blocking you. So because of that, I'm also now coaching the mind. Okay, that's a new venture of mine. But anyway, that is my story. It goes from meh to everybody has ups and downs. It's maybe not anything super impressive. That's kind of the deal, though. It's just an average woman, and that's the way it is. Life happens to you, right? You're all good, and then life, and like all of a sudden you're 50 pounds, 30 pounds, 20 pounds heavier, and you're like, what the heck? And you try the ketogenic diet, or you try Atkins, or you try this, or you try that, and it's just like, whatever. Maybe it doesn't work, but maybe it does for some people. But Shayna's here to help you. I'm here to help you with your nutrition, and I'm telling you, there's not a better program. There is not a better program. Don't care which one it is out there than the 21 Day Fix. Get your nutrition, get your Shakeology. Even if you do it for just 1 month, it's going to make such a difference in your life and your body that it's totally worth it. Okay, so nutrition, fitness. Same with Beachbody if you want to do those programs, because they're wonderful and people love them and they're awesome, and I do them and I love them too. But I also love the live training, which is why I do PiYo and personal training. And I love creating workouts. I love challenging and encouraging women at the same time. And now coaching the mind, because I just feel like a lot of times we push back into ourselves, and I just love the quote from Jen Sincero. She's, what if everybody was just living out their wildest dreams and happy in the world? Like, what would that look like? It would be amazing. So why don't I single-handedly see what little ripple effect I can have? That's where I'm at. So if you want to work with me, you know how. There's links in this video. I am doing a course, 3 days only, next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, about getting your mind right. Okay, so you're welcome to join us for that. And then July, oh shoot, I forgot what day it is. The week after July 4th, because I know that shenanigans is going to happen, right? July 4th barbecues, whoop, whoop. The week after, I'm starting a new round of 21 Day Fix. This could be your week, 3 weeks. Get it done, get in, get out, get as much results as you can. That could be you. Anyway, that's my story. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Mwah.